Now to a KMBC 9 News investigation getting results in Kansas. For more than 2 years now, we've been watching major issues and allegations at the top of the Kansas Highway Patrol. And as our Lara Moritz reports, state lawmakers are starting to take notice.
KMBC 9 Investigates has spoken with 10 current and former members of the KHP since 2020. All of them accused the agency's leader, Colonel Herman Jones, and many of his command staff of inappropriate conduct.
Close enough I could smell him. I felt him breathing on my neck, and he asked me if I was uncomfortable.
He sends the emoji with the tongue hanging out.
Dominance, control, intimidation, saying, I can have your job.
Jones was appointed to lead the KHP by Governor Lara Kelly in 2019. Since then, Jones has terminated 4 high-ranking troopers. All 4 have filed lawsuits claiming they were fired for supporting 6 female KHP employees who accused Jones of sexual harassment. Of those 4 lawsuits, 2 have been settled. A 3rd trooper's firing was overturned by a Kansas civilian board, and his job was reinstated. That trooper, however, declined to return to KHP under Jones' leadership.
In fact, it'd probably be easier to tell you who hasn't reached out to me at this stage. The number of people at the Kansas Highway Patrol who are distressed about what's going on there, and they see that 4 more years of this just can't continue.
Some lawmakers are now demanding an investigation into KHP, saying they are willing to overrule the governor to make change happen.
Some of the things that are in front of us are simply shifting that appointment power over to the Attorney General's office. He's the top law enforcement officer in the state, fully capable of appointing the leader of the Kansas Bureau of Investigation. He made a great pick there. I think he could make a great pick for the next Highway Patrol Superintendent.
Please welcome Lara Moritz, who's here to walk us through these new developments. It's so great to see you. Thanks for coming in for this program.
Thanks for having me, Cody.
No problem. What we just heard was very notable, right? This idea of the state legislature taking power away from the Democratic governor, giving it to the Republican Attorney General to pick the new head of KHP. I have to ask, are there politics at play? It kind of feels like it. What's your take?
Well, you know, I think what this speaks to is the years of frustration under Colonel Herman Jones on behalf of the troopers who are on the road. And this speaks to the number of lawsuits that have been filed against Herman Jones, Governor Kelly, and a number of administrators who are underneath Colonel Jones for their behavior and the treatment of these troopers who are on the road. It speaks to the 4 high-ranking troopers who have been fired under Herman Jones. So I think it speaks to the overall feeling of the people that Herman Jones is leading. And so are politics at play? I think politics are always at play.
Safe, right?
Very, very much so. But I think that the level of frustration, Cody, is just above and beyond what we've probably ever seen in the Kansas Highway Patrol.
To the point that we're seeing a number of ideas being floated around the legislature. What are you hearing?
Well, what we're hearing, and probably the #1 idea, is possibly removing the control and putting it under the Attorney General. And so what that would mean is not only the Kansas Bureau of Investigation would be overseen by the Attorney General, but also the Kansas Highway Patrol. So that would mean that the AG would be able to appoint a different superintendent, and that would be the removal. But what's interesting is Senator Clays insists that if Lara Kelly just removes Herman Jones as superintendent, then they are fine. And if she appoints someone different, because they feel under his control, there have been so many retirements, resignations, and there have been so many mishaps and missteps that it's time for him to step down.
You know, you've reported on this culture of alleged retaliation, right, for supporting these women who came forward. Have you noticed any positive changes at KHP?
You know, according to the men and women who we've spoken to, and on camera we've spoken to 10 individuals, off camera we've spoken to dozens of people, and it's men, it's women, it's high-ranking, it's the men and women who are on the road, and they say the exact same thing. It is very difficult to make any decisions on their own. It's very difficult to do anything other than what Herman Jones says to do, whether it's right or wrong. And if they don't follow exactly what he says, right or wrong, they feel as though, and they say there will be retaliation, and it's very difficult for them to do their jobs.
So it feels like this is persisting. What's next in your investigation?
What's next in our investigation is there are a number of people who have retired and they are considering speaking on camera about why they have retired early. And there's a number of people who are ready to speak out over why they just feel as though they can no longer work under Herman Jones.
All right. Well, we know you're going to be hard at work for maybe even years to come. Lara Moritz, great to see you again.
Great to see you too, Cody.
Thank you very much. You can watch all of Lara's reporting in her latest report, The Years of KMBC 9 Investigates, work here online at KMBC.com.